Alright, so in this video I'm going to be going over ChatGPT and ManyChat, the integration with one another, and how to customize your message. So in a previous video I've kind of showed you guys how to use Make.com and ManyChat to essentially integrate the two platforms so that when you type in something into ManyChat, a question preferably, it'll then spit out, or ChatGPT will then spit out an answer and then it'll answer it within ManyChat or Messenger in this case. So if you go back into your kind of make.com account and you see this, and again, if you're not sure what all of this is, you probably don't want to see the part one to this, where I go over exactly how to set all this up. You go into your prompt, and you can see right here that we've added all of this as a essentially context. Now, best practices would be to add context at the start here with the two little dots on top of one another, the colon slashes, and you basically want to add whatever context it is for your use case. In our case, we were making a Disney bot, so we wanted the chatbot to act like Elsa from Frozen and kind of answer the question in her tone of voice, similar to kind of like a mascot of the chatbot. So that's what we wanted. So that's what we ended up doing here. So we had a block of text here, and then we have the user's input right here of the question that they wanted to ask. And then the chatbot would normally respond into that kind of tone of voice. So that is it for this. That's how you customize this. You actually just customize the prompt. And you can also add examples too. So if I really wanted to, we could have also added examples of like different ways that she could have responded. So maybe using the most famous quotes that Elsa says in the movies. Now, we didn't actually do that, but that's something that you can do. So you can add context and examples to your prompts, so that way it gives you a more accurate answer. So when people are typing into your chatbot, you'll actually get a very, very proper response. Now, the other thing I want to mention here is that there is actually an app now, and this is made by Rob Rada, and he made essentially an app where you can, instead of using make.com to essentially connect ManyChat to ChatGPT, you could download the app, and I'll link the post here below so you can actually take a look at it. You actually have to be within the ManyChat community in order to see it, though, so just know that. But they'll basically let anyone in, so there will be no friction in that. But basically, you'll download this app inside the kind of ManyChat App Store. It's not in the app Store itself. It's just one of those dev kind of apps. Once you install it to your ManyChat account, you then connect the settings. So I can kind of go over this just a little bit. But basically what it'll look like is you'd go into your settings, and then you'll go into apps, and then you'll go into your ManyChat ChatGPT testing, and then you'll type in your key right here. So you could see it. I'll have it blurred out in the video for obvious reasons, but you'll type in your key. This is your OpenAI key, so your ChatGPT key. And I go over how to find that in the previous video. So if you're not sure where to find that, just go over and watch that one and you'll see where to find your ChatGPT secret key. So you'll type that in here. And then when you go into your app, so into your settings here, let me just find the app that I'm trying to go for right here. So when you type in, when you actually have your action here, so if I was to make it anew and I type in ManyChat GPT, you'll see the action starts here. There's only one action for now. So you'll have your prompt. You'll need to have whatever the AI prompt. This is essentially your input. Then you'll have your QR code share link or your Google Sheets share link. So you would just take this, click share, and then you have to copy your share link right over here into this field right here. Then you type in the model that you want. You type in all these different settings here, these parameters, and then you type in where the response should save under. So this is the output. And what that looks like, again, I didn't type in everything, but what that looks like is right above here. So this is the kind of input you want. This is the spreadsheet it should respond to. This is the model. This is all these other kind of settings here and the output. And what this does is everything on this spreadsheet, ChatGPT will be able to reference. So it'll actually be able to take the form of a business. So in this case, this is just kind of a demo if you will, of what it should look like. And you can have like your business opening hours, whether there are certain reservations and check-ins available, where to get that into, the address of the business, the phone number, and so on. And you can add quite a bit more, or you can customize it for your use case. And this is again just an example of what you can use this for. And the responses are fairly good too in terms of like what you're going to be getting from there. Um, that is it. One thing that I will say though is that if ChatGPT doesn't know what to say, then it's not going to give a great answer. But with, say, Make.com, the pros of this is that you can tell it so that if it doesn't know what to say, it can have a default response. You could say, like, if you're unable to reply with a good answer, reply with this. And then you can say, like, sorry, we didn't get your question. Can you rephrase it in a different way? Or something along those lines. So that way the human on the other side will be able to rephrase their question. So that way ChatGPT will have a better chance of understanding them and giving out a better response. Now you'll see that the bots are basically identical. So like the ManyChat app one is identical to the Make.com one. So if I go back here to the Make.com, that's because they're very similar in nature. They're not much different. There are pros and cons to both, like I said. Like the Make one, you can add in additional prompt kind of stuff here. You could theoretically add that in with the app as well if you added to the input. Right, so you said in the input saying like, hey, if you're not able to answer a proper with a good answer, then make sure that you give this reply. So it is possible to do it like that. The pros with the app is that you're actually able to not need to have it connected to a third-party platform. You just have it connected to, say, your spreadsheet. I guess Spreadsheets is a third-party platform, but it's not as ridiculous as, say, Make.com with their scenarios and all their different um, not really coding, but soft coding that you need to do over there with node-based stuff. So that's it for kind of customizing the ManyChat prompts. You're able to, like with the Make, again, if you watch part one, this will make a lot more sense, but you're able to just add context and examples to your prompts instead of just having them standalone prompts. And then if you really want to try out the app here, again, there'll be a link below to this kind of post here where you can go over how to do it. It's pretty straightforward, and you can just basically have your own kind of chatbot connected without using Integromat/Make.com. Just connect it to a spreadsheet and then have all the information inside that said spreadsheet, and then it'll spit out information regarding whatever you're trying to ask.